Hi, I'm Dr. Mark Pitstick at soulproof.com, and the topic of this talk is when children die. And more specifically, what do I tell family members, loved ones of children who die? First of all, I express my heartfelt condolences because this is the toughest. By all reports, no one wants to bury their child, and it's the toughest of the tough. An old story from Ram Dass tells about a great teacher in India named Marpa, and Marpa's son died. And the students of this teacher, Marpa, saw him alone in the garden crying. And one went up to him and said, "Teacher, we don't understand. You teach us that life is eternal and that death is an illusion, and yet here you are crying when your son died." And Marpa said, "Yes, my son, death is an illusion, but the death of a child is the most cruel of these illusions." And so it's really, really tough. I'm not underestimating that by any means. However, what I've seen is that even this has a rhyme and a reason behind it, and that's what we're going to talk about a little bit here. The first question is, how will you respond? In other words, your child's life was a gift. And will you honor that gift? Will you carry that on, or will you become embittered? I have two examples of that. One was a woman in South Carolina at a Unity Church where I spoke. She had had 7 pregnancies, 4 of them miscarried, 2 of the children died at a young age. She had 1 child left. And she felt like that her depth of soul and her inner strength was a result of going through all that. You know, the old saying, that which does not kill me makes me stronger. And she was serving people, working with retarded children, and she was a bright, bright light in her community. On the other hand, I spoke years ago with a fellow out on a dock by a river, and we got talking, and he told me that his only son had died. He used to be very religious. He was a Sunday school teacher, but after his son died, he became totally embittered, felt like it was all crock, and became an atheist. Wanted nothing to do with any of that and didn't believe there's any God or afterlife. Obviously, that reaction didn't honor the son, and I'm sure if his son could have appeared in front of him, he would have said, "Dad, you know, we don't want you to do that." So it's okay to be angry. Most people know about Elizabeth Kubler-Ross's stages of grieving, and the acronym for that is DABDA. D for denial. At first, you can't believe it's happening. Secondly, A for anger. Very important to be anger. B, bargaining, kind of like, "God, if you let this not be true, I'll go to church, 7 days a week." The second D for depression, when the loss really kicks in. And then finally, A, acceptance. And these emotions can go back and forth. So it's normal to go through these. It's normal to question. But hopefully you can see the light at the end of the tunnel, and you can see some lightness through this. Now, another aspect of dealing when a child dies is to remember not to personify God. The question I get asked so often is, why did God take my little one away from me? And we'll be talking about in the next video. For now, be sure to visit the website, soulproof.com. The book, the documentary film discuss a lot of this important information to help you get through this toughest of times.